Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, and Lauren. Welcome to the Cimorelli podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I almost said I'm Lisa. I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
And we're Cimorelli. Welcome back to
the Cimorelli podcast. Hey, guys.
Cimorelli podcast.
Anyway, so 156, and today we're going to be talking about something that is not near. I was going to say near and dear to my heart, but not near nor dear.
It's near.
It is near in proximity.
Near and hated.
Yeah, what's the opposite of dear?
Hated? I don't know.
Near and hated to my heart.
Yes. This is the fear of failure. The fear of failure, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're talking about today. It's kind of like almost in a way a continuation of our last episode of like high standards. Because I think that has a lot to do with fear of failure, but you know, who could ever know? So anywho, let's see, is there anything else to do? Oh, also, Lisa is not with us today, as you can see, because she is on leave right now, caring for her husband who's going through cancer treatments. So we'd really appreciate if you could pray for their family and for healing. That would be amazing.
All right, ladies, let's jump into this episode.
Let's do it.
Let's start with our highs and lows of the week.
Okay. I can start this one. I think. I'll start with the low because that's the most...
Easy to access.
Yes. So today, this very day we are living, I spotted in the corner a mirror. And I said, this mirror is broken. I need to throw it away. And I said, wow, this mirror is very broken. So, you know, little old me moseys down to the trash can. And I pick up the mirror to put it in the trash can.
Oh, no.
And the entire glass panel thing, whatever that is called, drops and shatters.
Oh,
It's not the mirror. It's like
It's just the glass.
the glass of the mirror, the whole back thing and the little things. It just shatters.
7 years bad luck.
No, I'm a Christian. No, I said, Alex, we don't believe in luck, right? He said,
Right.
no.
Right.
I said, okay, so I'm not screwed for the next 7 years.
Who's Alex?
Our brother. He got a shovel
Who's Alex?
and helped me shovel.
Wondering.
He's actually, he's very smart in that regard. I FaceTimed him and I was like, Alex, I have a problem. He said, So then he went down and got a shovel and we shoveled the glass into the trash can. But I was trying to record and I had a lot of things going on and I was like, I don't really have time to clean up this mess. But
and broken glass in
I
any
need
form
to.
is so rude.
It's
I hate
so annoying. So luckily it's outside near the door where people primarily wear shoes. But I did my best to sweep it up, but I think I'm going to go over it with a shop vacuum one of these days. But yeah, so that was a low because I was just like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And then a high is that I've been able to smell recently. It's been nice. I haven't been able to smell for like a week and a half, you know? And the last day, I've been getting my olfactories back. Is that what it's called?
Olfactory.
Olfactory,
Yeah.
that thing. I've been getting it back. And
I mean, I'm
it is
just picturing
delightful
you
to
with like a
smell.
row of candles being like,
Yes, no,
You
no,
probably
literally.
she's like, oh, the cinnamon, oh, the
I go over to watch Bear and he's like, you want to smell the candles? And he makes us smell every candle multiple times.
That's
And he goes,
so cute.
Lauren made all these. And I said,
she did?
no, she didn't.
She made the
She
tray.
just made this tray. He says,
Oh.
no, Lauren made these.
Oh,
I'll take it. I'm like, okay.
Oh, Bear's just marketing you, Lauren.
And he looks
as a
into your
candle
backyard
creator.
and he goes, flowers. Alex, flowers for Alex. And I was like, why would you have all these flowers in your backyard? Okay.
What? Well, he did that when a babysitter came the other day. He's like, my daddy made that of the table. And then he went, and Laura made that.
Oh,
I told her.
He brags about you.
Wow. Can't
believe it.
I love it.
Okay, I can do mine.
I'm done.
Mine is low turned high. Well, I feel bad saying it's a high because I'll just explain.
What?
So, on Sunday was our family birthday party. And
For
it was
you.
for my birthday and also my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law.
Cute, cute.
And one of my twins was sick. And then my husband was sick too.
How are they doing?
I see.
They're
what you're
doing
saying.
fine now. It was like
Good.
a mild cold, but I was
Okay.
just like, let's just not bring him around the
Yeah,
people.
it's better.
So then I just went and I brought one of my twins, which was really interesting. Like I would say that was like kind of the high is like, I think it's good to spend time with them individually and I need to do it more often.
Have some one-on-one.
Yeah, like trade-off.
So it's
Were
just
you,
fun.
like-
It was like me and Dom were like little partners. And then we went to do the grocery pickup together and it was taking forever. But luckily Dom is a book lover. So I just gave him a stack of books and he was sitting in the back just like flipping through while we were waiting for the
Aw.
groceries.
Do you think he was like, "Where's Leo? Where's Leo"?
No.
He doesn't know how to say
He didn't
that.
seem to
Do you
notice.
think, was it half as hard having one? Or do you think it was pretty much
I would
the
say
same?
it was a 10th as hard.
Wow, you're like easy breezy.
I don't
that was
know
the thing
why.
we said.
It was so much easier.
No, that's the thing. Okay,
I was
you
like,
said that
oh,
to
one
me? Or
child.
did I
I
say that?
basically
I
have
don't
no
know.
children.
It's like when
That's
you
how I
have
felt.
when you have 2 kids and then you suddenly are only taking care of one. It's like you're taking care of none.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but
Well,
it's
yeah,
true.
like I was sitting outside on the
It's
deck
so
talking to my
true.
sister and like my son Dominic was just running around in circles and I'm like, if Leo was here, I guarantee he would want to go inside. It wouldn't work. I wouldn't have been able to even have this conversation. So it's like, I don't know. They always want to go in
It's
different
so
directions.
easy.
And it's just like, ugh, you just can't do anything. But even though they are a blessing, it's just
Well, yeah.
for the
We
for
know,
the,
God.
for the sake of having conversations in a coherent manner when you're with other people, it's very hard when you have 2
Look,
toddlers.
Kat, being a twin mom isn't for the faint of heart. We know it.
Yes,
We
that's
know
very
it.
true.
You have to be a strong person.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, it's just wow.
It's a lot.
so that was your.
That was my low. Was that Leo and Max couldn't come? Leo
the
cried when I
high-
left. I was like, oh, that's so
Oh,
sad.
baby.
But then the high was that I got to spend
But
one-on-one
you
time
got to
with
have
Dom.
some bonding time with
Yeah,
him.
which is really
That's
nice.
cute.
Yeah, and then he hung out with Max, and they were like playing in the playpen when we got home. I was like, oh, so cute.
I always do that with Barrett. I say, we're doing Mommy Barrett time, which he loves doing. But then he also is always like, I want Tristy. He's like really sad
Aw,
when she's
That's
not
so
around.
cute.
That's so cute. Wait, he calls her Tristy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I love
Or
it.
sweet girl.
Sweet girl.
Or
Sweet.
my precious girl. Sweet precious girl. He says like
Aw.
a mixture of
Angel.
all these different words.
Wow,
What a
that's
little
really
muffin.
cute.
funny.
I love to see it.
Okay, my low is emotional distress.
What a low. What a low to have.
And my high is that my brother, who's usually away at school, came back,
Oh, yeah.
and
that's a
I
good
got
one.
to spend some time with him.
Aw.
My baby brother, who looks
Aw.
older than me now because he shaved his head bald and has a giant beard.
Literally, he's giving monk. He's
He
really
was
giving
just
monk.
such an angel, and
He
I
was
love
an
him.
angel,
And I
baby.
never really talked to him. Sorry, but when he is here,
It's
I
fun.
did.
I
and
love
it was
that.
nice. We had a nice conversation. I'm like, wow, he's really growing into such a nice young man.
Oh, Lauren, you sound like a
He's
grandma.
nice. I know.
You're like, oh, nice young
But
man.
he is really
I
grandma
am
nuts.
his grandma. Every time he starts talking, I start smiling. He's like, and another thing. I'm like,
Are you 2 years?
Lauren's like,
She's
oh,
4
I'm
years old?
3
What a
years
season.
older than
Wait.
him.
Wait, what year is he born in?
Oh,
wait.
you're 3.5.
3.5. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Like, he's not that much younger than me, but to me, he's like
Wait, that's
10
me to
years
you.
younger. He's like a child.
Wow.
That's
I
me
get
to
it.
Lisa and I are 3 years apart.
That's me to
Wow.
Lauren.
What?
And Kat to me.
Yeah.
It's just different life. I don't know.
Interesting.
Boys just seem a lot younger. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, this is not that interesting. I just realized yesterday when we were going through our birthdays for something, whatever. Nick, I was like, that's so weird. It's like Nick, January. And then, well, I guess I'll add eye color, blue. And then Barrett, Tristan, and I are now, she's turning green. So it's green, 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 August. The rest of the house.
Oh, weird.
The whole
That is
household
weird.
is green eyes and August birthdays except for Nick.
That's weird
That's
that
weird.
all
Isn't
three
that
of you are
funny?
born in August. That is really a big
I
coincidence.
just thought it was interesting. Yeah, it's weird. Until we get the next one. If we have a January, then it's January. Okay, my high is that I started reading this book again, When the Body Says No, that I love. I read it before, and it changed my life then, but it's changing my life even more now because I feel like I understand it way better. It's like truly life-changing. It's so good. So it's such a high, and that I'm even reading it all, honestly. Took me years to get to this point.
Good for you.
And then my low was just what Lauren said, emotional distress over the weekend. Just like 7 months postpartum. That's just where I am. I've realized 6-7 months postpartum is really rough. Maybe 8 and 9 as well. I don't know. But last time and this time, it's really rough, like mental health wise. But then physically, I'm doing incredibly well. So it's very confusing. But overall, I'm doing very well. It's weird. It's like my mental health is like pretty good, and then it has like deep, deep lows, but then the day-to-day is like pretty good. So it doesn't quite make sense. It does feel partially like there must be some weird hormonal things going on. because it almost feels like pregnancy where it's like, why? Like you just like snap out of nowhere and you're like, why'd that happen? And it doesn't make sense. It feels like that. That's what 7 months postpartum is like for me. Weird. But anyway, shall we jump into the main topic?
Yeah.
We're talking about fear of failure, which I feel like is something everyone can relate to. Everyone goes through. I love this topic so much because it is it's something I've been through in many stages, in many ways that I have really overcome in many creative ways, in many stages of life.
Good for you.
So I love this topic. If you want to be able to see all of our full episodes, you're going to have to join our Patreon, become a patron. It's linked in the description, patreon.com/Cimorelli. And the patrons are the number one supporters of the Cimorelli podcast. So we appreciate you guys so much. And they get to participate in Lauren's Take. We do Q&As every Monday there. We do an individual one. You guys get to ask us questions on Patreon. And we also we'll ask you guys to take polls on things, ask for your opinions. And we even do live streams for only patrons. And the first tier where you can get all the episodes is only $5 a month. So if you want to try it out, support us. You can check out our Patreon linked in the description. Woo. Now let's jump into this episode. So fear of failure.
Oh, it'll get you and it'll get you every time.
I think it's really good to start out by talking about what it looks like.
I just say, I don't really know which one of my personalities is showing up for this podcast.
Which one?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
You seem like
Georgia?
you.
Really? I feel like I seem different. I don't know. Okay.
Seem normal to me.
Just tell
Okay.
me if it seems like a different personality showed up.
When you think of fear of failure, you normally, I think of one end of it, which is just like, I'm terrified to fail, so I don't want to try. I'm paralyzed by fear, and I don't want to start things.
Like when you go bowling.
Yeah.
What?
And you're like,
What are you
it's
talking
so
about?
awkward if I throw the ball and it's so bad.
Or it's so awkward if you're me when you're 12 and you throw the ball behind you.
Yes.
And you keep thinking how awkward it'd be if someone accidentally let the ball go behind them, then it happens to you. I feel like in this point of my life, obviously I would not give one rip. When I was 12, I was like,
Not that I believe in manifestation, but I think you may have manifested
that was like a true embarrassing moment. Now it would just be funny. But at that point in my life, I was like, oh.
At 12, that would feel
Because I
embarrassing.
didn't know anyone there. It was like a church event. I didn't know
that's bad.
anyone. Oh, it was horrible.
That's real
I
bad.
feel like the fear of failure, there's two main facets that come to mind that I feel like I want to get your guys' thoughts on. One is, wait, why are you guys laughing?
Just like when you go bowling, you're like, I think fear of failure.
I was just
wrong.
waiting
It was just funny.
Okay, I was
It
just waiting
funny.
for you guys to do that because I was
yeah.
thinking, you know, when someone's talking and you're not listening, but you're thinking about your house is doing that, which is not great. But okay, so but I thought of this as you said it, and then I was waiting to hear if anyone else said it, and then I was like, okay, I'll say it. The first aspect that I think of is that it's very vulnerable to look like you're putting effort into something.
Yes.
Oh,
Like
yeah, it is.
that
Loser.
things should be effortless. And I think that's like a like image thing that our society has. It's like, oh, you don't want to like be trying too hard. You want to like get everything done and make it look good. Like, don't let anyone see you sweat.
Yeah, no, that is literally such a like creed for our
It's supposed
society.
to be effortless.
Wait, before we get into that, I think I need to finish mentioning the other way it looks first. And then we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Let me go to the other one first because otherwise it won't really fit in the middle. The other one was, okay, so the obvious one we know of is the one I just said. It's obvious, the like more cliche one, I guess. You're too scared to try stuff because you're too scared to fail.
Yeah.
The
I've
other
seen a lot of
one
movies.
is like being driven to focus on success above everything and push yourself past healthy limits, sometimes even do immoral things to avoid being perceived as a failure by yourself and others at all costs. So that one may not look like they have a fear of failure. It might look like, oh, this person just is so high achieving and
Really driven.
they're so successful, but they can be driven, insane, honestly, but they're really driven by their fear of failing. It drives them to live this life that is horrible.
Fraudulent.
The rat race.
So you have the one side, it drives you to be like stuck in that crazy rat race, whatever, doing these wild things. And sometimes you're so desperate, you cheat on your paper in college and then you end up being expelled because you're terrified of failing, or you end up
Cheating on your taxes and then you go to jail.
exactly things like that, right? Or the other side, you're terrified of failure. You never really try anything. they look opposite, right? Person who doesn't really try much, they don't want to, they're too scared, they don't accomplish much. Person who accomplishes a ton. But the root of both of them is this insane, intense fear of failure that is driving everything they're doing or not doing.
Yeah.
And this is a problem for, I would say, pretty much everyone to some degree. Most people, I'd say, to a large degree. There's a lot of things that people want to try, want to do, and they will not do it because of the fear of failure. It stops people from changing careers, doing something they really want to do, trying like something they're passionate about, even like as a hobby, or like trying something new they might love. I think it stops so many incredible opportunities in life, that fear of failure. So you pointed out a first great point, which is that it is vulnerable to show that you care and you're trying and you want something.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, that was actually my second point. The first one that I was saying is it should look effortless. Like, I think there's
an expectation.
Yeah, one
on
side
us.
of it is like, I think it's really vulnerable to show people
to do it all and
that
do it in
something was
heels.
hard, or that you're having a hard time with it, or like that it took you a few tries to get there.
that?
Like the process.
That was me when I was playing a pickup basketball game with
the
all
nuns?
these good basketball player girls that I didn't even know at this retreat, and I am so bad at it. But it's fun.
That's vulnerable.
And I was trying so hard and was literally the worst player you've ever seen.
No, I was worse.
But you didn't actually try.
I didn't try.
You didn't try. You just walked across the court. But I actually tried.
I watched from
I was
the court.
sprinting. I threw the ball. It was like 10 feet from the hoop, and I was like, "Oh, this is not like
you took a
I
shot.
am trying so hard, and
maybe,
I
I don't know.
am failing so horrifically." And people like, you know, when
They
you're
were
bad,
still clapping for you,
No.
though.
You know when people are bad, and you're like, "Oh, good job, though." People were not doing that for me because they were like,
She's
"She's
serious?
really trying, and she ain't working."
Why is that it's like so that I'm trying to find this as I'm talking. Why is it that we're supposed to like things are supposed to be effortless?
I don't know, but I feel like since we're like little, it's like indoctrinated into us.
Well, Brene Brown talks about that.
Why is
She said there's some in one of her talks. She talks about like how women are supposed to do everything like really well and also make it look effortless.
Do it in heels.
Yeah, you're like, oh, who me? I've been up since midnight baking this pie, but you would never know because my makeup is perfect and my hair is perfect and everything looks good. I don't really know why.
Yeah,
but,
I'm trying to figure out where this expectation to do everything right at the first try comes from.
but I think that cripples people a lot because it's like, oh, if I don't look effortless doing it and I look like I'm trying really hard, I'm afraid to be embarrassed. I'm afraid to like, be like,
It's like cringe. Ugh.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people, we're talking about
What
creativity
is that?
too. A lot of people, I
Huh.
think, shy away from creativity and they're like, oh, I'm not creative. And it's like, but every person is meant to be
Everyone's
creative in
creative.
some way. In my opinion, you're created in the
Yeah.
image of God, in the image of a creator. It doesn't mean you paint a painting. Like that's one way to be creative, but there's millions of ways to be creative.
Yeah.
But I think the heart of creativity is like being vulnerable and trying something and like not being, or maybe you are afraid, but you're not letting it like control that you're still going to try something new.
I think it's because a point that I already wrote down for the end, so I won't go into now. It's because of what failure means to you, like what you've assigned, the meaning you've assigned to failure, which we'll get into that later. But I think that's the reason why it's so terrifying.
From like movies and like media and stuff though, because like before all that stuff, everyone just kind of like worked on their farms and like helped each other out. And I don't think that everyone was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fail at milking my cow today."
I mean, they probably did.
Okay,
It was probably
maybe.
just different than now. Different
I don't
stuff.
know. Yeah, I
I'm
wonder
like,
if
well,
that's where the
that
effortless
farmer,
thing
They
comes
milk
from.
their cows so much better than me. I failed at it.
Like I'm failing. My crops aren't
Yeah.
doing very well.
I'm wondering if that's where the effortless thing comes from, though. Maybe
I don't know.
like how things are depicted.
So can we mention some times of our very own personal fears of failure?
Well, okay,
I don't know. Every day of my living life.
I remember, okay, so I started posting my poetry on my blog when I was like, I don't know, 16 or something, 17, 18 maybe? I don't know. And I remember like, I get a lot of really like positive feedback, but I remember this one person, this one comment just bothered the living rip out of me. It was like, I don't even remember what it was. This was years ago, but it was like something about how they were saying it didn't look like I was putting like it didn't look like I was editing my poems enough times or like putting in enough effort to change them after the initial draft.
What a comment.
Which was like, I don't know, like they didn't say
What
like,
are you, my professor?
it was like, yeah, it was
what?
like my poetry. They didn't say lazy, but it was something along that lines of like, oh,
Too
this
real
just
and raw.
seems like, yeah, like very raw and like maybe you should
edit it
workshop it or something. And that
But that's part of the point.
Maybe I
though.
should workshop that
well,
comment.
and to me, that is one of the
Poster.
things that I have a huge fear of failure about sharing my writing. I really want to be an author. Like we've put out a book together, but I also like that's a huge dream I've always had is to write my own books and like have that be a big part of my life for a long time. But I'm very scared of doing that. And I'm still struggling with this because writing has been a really safe place for me since I was young. And I'm afraid that if I put it out there into the world, people will like misconstrue it, judge it. Like I was reading comments on my absolute favorite author, love her books so much, Shauna Niequist. Read them all like 4 to 5 times. I don't even like rereading books. I'm like, there's so many other books to read.
Oh, all I do is reread.
And I was reading comments on her book and I was like, people were like, this privileged woman, she just acts like blah, blah. Like it was like people were being so rude and saying all this stuff. And I'm like, I never got that from her writing at all. But some people clearly saw this really bad side. And then it made me scared. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if I write stuff with like the best of intentions that I think is really going to like help someone, be a light, be something positive. And then people think I'm just like this weird person. I don't know. It's like, I'm afraid of being misunderstood, I think. And I'm afraid that like, and that would be like a failure. It's like, people didn't get it. People didn't get what I was trying to do. And like, oh, in my head, it was this really good idea. But when other people saw it, like, what if it's just like sucks? So that's something that I'm still really afraid of is, yeah, I don't know, that comment, and there's been a few others that have just kind of gotten to me a little bit. It makes you like kind of start shrinking in your mind. Like you had this beautiful, pure thing that you love to do, and then suddenly it's like this person put a thing on it. And it just gets this inner critic gets so loud.
Well, yeah, but it's like everyone has the right to like think there's things that they think about things just like you do. And also it's like it doesn't change how good it is though.
Like there's a bunch of books you probably
doesn't
think
change.
hate it.
Yeah.
And you're
true.
like, do you want them to stop writing?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
probably not.
Like you don't have to like people saying anything rude about your work. It is kind of like a moot point. It doesn't matter because your work is your work and you're proud of it. And people are going to connect with the way you write or they're not going to connect, but it doesn't really matter because it's about you.
And there
your
are
writing.
people out there who will.
Exactly.
Well,
There's many
and
people.
Christina actually gave me a really good feedback on this recently. I had a bad comment on my personal YouTube channel, and Christina was like, clearly this person that wrote this comment is not your audience. Like,
Yeah.
you're not making videos for them. They don't get it. This is not the type of content they're looking for. Like, you shouldn't be focused. And I was so paralyzed and focused on what this one person said. And I was like, I was like, I gotta call Christina. I know she's gonna have something good to say. And she was right. Like, it's like, yeah, clearly there's nothing wrong with this person and what they are looking for, but it's not what I'm doing. And that doesn't mean what I'm doing is wrong because it doesn't appeal to this person.
Exactly.
You know? I think every person is going to have that in different ways in what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I relate to what you're saying when it comes to our career, especially in the past. It's very vulnerable to put your songwriting out there and your message and all this stuff and have people judge it. And it's like they do only have a few things they can judge out of context. Like, oh, you have these relationship songs. Why don't you have songs about this? Or
yeah.
you have all these message songs. Why do you have songs about this? Whatever the heck.
Yeah.
And we've had so many like ups and downs and different like times in our career. And I have gone through so many different waves of fear of failure. And one particular one I'm thinking of, there was a time where it was just so terrifying to put ourselves out there because I felt like everything had to do well. Like, well, what if we put this song out there and it doesn't do well? What if we put this video out there and it doesn't do well? What if we go on stage on our tour and it doesn't go well? Everything was just like, what if it doesn't go well? Because the end goal was always like, it needs to be perfect, whatever. That's kind of like our last episode about high standards. But then Brene Brown is who really came in for me on this one.
Oh,
and
love
she
her.
started talking about like
Bless you,
valuing like being in the arena and like actually doing things and valuing being courageous enough to try something. And it changed my mind. I started not caring as much about, I need to do this thing, it needs to go perfect, as much as I cared about, my goal is that I'm courageous enough to do this. Like courageous enough to have the audacity to post this video, to however many million subscribers. That's the audacity. Courageous enough to like pour my heart into this song and then put it out there for the world to hear. I know so many musicians, and I've known throughout times, you guys do too, throughout our lives, who they just never really put their stuff out there. Like they just always keep it to themselves.
It's scary.
And they want to.
You're like, I sound unhinged.
And it's because it's scary. It's like, I'm going to put my singing out there, my track that I made, maybe my piano playing, my guitar playing, whatever it is.
My feelings.
My arrangement.
Lyrics, my harmonies, my feelings, my whatever the heck it is. It is terrifying. You put it out there for the world to criticize.
Judge.
And you can have thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands or millions of people tearing you to shreds. But I realized at the end of the day, I always think back to the end of the day. That's how I live my life, is like bottom line things, you know, the end of the day or the end of my life. If I get to the end of my life and I'm like, man, I just went through all these years keeping all these songs inside, all these videos inside, all this writing, all this expression. I kept it inside because I didn't want people sitting there to leave a comment that was rude and I didn't want to read it. Really? Do I really care that much? And the answer is no, I don't. At the end of the day, I want to know, like, how many times was I courageous in the day? Like, what did I do that was kind of scary? It's also kind of a rush. What did I do that was kind of scary? I wrote this song that was really vulnerable. I made this video and I put it out there. I said this thing that some people didn't agree with. Whatever it is, I want to do that. That feels like living to me more than trying to do everything to please everyone and get everyone to give the like perfect response to make me feel good about myself. Why don't I just go to therapy and work on making myself feel good about myself that way? You know, cultivate my relationship with the Lord, maybe do that instead. And then leave the critics to just sit there and do whatever they want. I can delete it. I cannot look at it. I can ignore it. I can laugh at it, whatever. There's a lot of options there. But for me, not to express myself and not to do like what I'm really passionate about, what I love, that's not an option. I can't live like that. But there's a lot of people who do. And there's a lot of times we're held back because we're scared. It's like, especially when you like try something and maybe you try like a bunch of times and it like keeps going bad. That is hard. It's like, I've tried this publicly multiple times. Sometimes it's like 30, 40, 50 times publicly. I've tried this and it didn't go very well. I should just give up now. But it's like, if it really matters to you and you really care about it and you're like, but I have 5 more tries in me. I have 1 more. I have 100 more, whatever. Give it the 1 more try. But you have to figure out why you're doing it in the first place. If you're doing it, you know, to get the right response out of people and to make you feel good, that ain't going to work. It's got to be this, I think, this intrinsic thing of like, I have a message I want to get out there. I have a voice.
Yeah.
It deserves to be heard. I have this like thing inside me that has to come out. I have to get it on paper. I have to record it. I have to put it in the world. That is where I've gotten multiple times in our career. Of like, I've gotten down and been like, man, do I have the audacity?
And then you said, yes,
that's really
I
the
do
question.
have the audacity.
That's the question. Do I have the audacity to do this?
Yeah.
Like, it is, I mean, to have the audacity to be like, I have the audacity to be like, I'm gonna be an author. I'm gonna put a book out there. That's the audacity, because not everyone does that. Putting out a song, a video, that's the audacity. Not everyone does that.
Audacity.
Do you have the audacity, or do you have like, or it's like, what's the opposite of audacity? I have the non-audacity to sit at home and rot and be like, man, this sucks. Wish I was doing that. Too bad.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I think there's also like another side of it. There's the fear of criticism, and it's like, I definitely have that, but then I also have the fear of like nothing. Like, I put all this work in and no one cares. No one watches the video. No one listens to the song.
Insignificant.
People don't hate it. It's like, the comments are good. You show it to people and they're like, oh, cool. But it's like, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't go anywhere. And then for me, it's like, oh, and then the people that I know can look and see that this thing I put all this time into, this thing I put out there, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't do well. It like failed.
Yes.
And that's what scares me more even than criticism, is like
when you get
no
nothing.
response.
Yeah, it's weird. That does hurt.
Neglect.
And I've felt that a lot of times. But then once again, at the end of the day, it's got to be like, but I have the audacity. It's like a proud thing to be like, look, I had the audacity to do this. That's how I feel. I'm like, I put it out there. I did it. Like, I actually did the thing we all want to do. I did it. And I'm like really proud about that.
Hello, this is Amy from the future. Now, have you ever been scrolling TikTok and then you see a random TikTok that tells you all these random symptoms that you happen to have are some wretched disease, and then you panic and you go down a internet rabbit hole of searching for symptoms on WebMD, and then all of a sudden you're going to die in 7 days? That is not right. Okay. And I have something that will help you and me and all of us with medical anxiety alike. And what I have for us, guys, is ZocDoc. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, which is so important, and are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. Guys, finding a new doctor is really nerve-wracking and scary. I know. I have to do it and I've been putting it off, but I will do it with them because this is so easy, so convenient, and not to mention free. So when you need a doctor, guys, get the free ZocDoc app and start searching for local doctors in your area. Go to ZocDoc.com/Cimorelli and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/Cimorelli. ZocDoc.com/Cimorelli. Later.
Okay, we were kind of already talking about this, but let's get to the root of this and like help the good people out there and ourselves with talking about some of the roots. So low self-esteem can be a big root of this.
Yeah.
You're the one who mentioned that. So you want to elaborate?
Yeah.
Because I don't actually know where you're going with
Well, it's just like you don't have like the audacity when you have no self-esteem.
Okay.
Like you can't tell yourself like all the things that you just said of like, well, it's okay because I put myself out there. You're just like, well, who am I though?
Okay.
I'm just a loser.
Okay, yes. I know exactly what you're saying, and I felt like that before. It was like the fake it till you make it thing. I mean, I still do that sometimes where I'm like, why do I have the audacity, or why am I allowed to have the audacity? And there's just one reason. Because you are a human being. We're all the same human being. We're all... What does Dad say?
We all
Trying to think of what
put our
Dad
pants
said.
on one leg at a time.
We all put our
We all
pants
brush
on.
our teeth in the morning, hopefully.
We're all going to be old one day using walkers if we even can walk, okay? It's going to come for all of us, okay? At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all were once exuberant children, full of passion.
And promise.
Energy, joy. Like, we all have that with us. We're just humans. It's just the end of the day, that's what it is. So no one has, I've said this before, no one has to give you the permission to have the audacity. You have to give yourself the permission. No one can take that from you. It all comes from you. So it's something you can decide literally right now. You could say, you know what? I'm done giving the power to all these other people to give me the permission to have the audacity. It's time for me to give myself permission just because I'm human. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to have anything or be anything specific. It's literally just being a human. I'm telling you, you study any like notable person in history, whatever, who had the audacity, they're just a human. Like, they come from all different places, but at the end of the day, it's just human beings. That's the reason. There's nothing special.
No one is born with the fear of failure. Like, you've mentioned this before, like, when a child is like trying to walk, they're not afraid of failing.
Yeah, they're like, I don't want to take a step, I might fail. They just keep trying and they do it.
Channel yourself as a toddler.
We all
Just like,
have that.
You walked until you could walk.
You know what?
You stepped, you pulled yourself up.
Babies.
You did all these different things. Like,
so much perseverance. Babies and toddlers,
kept going until you could walk, and now you're walking everywhere. And you don't even know.
Relentless with their trying of these skills over and over and over. Relentless. Let's go to another
channel your
one.
own self.
This is a great one for that. Lack of resilience is often at the root of this.
That's hard because I feel like we need to have resilience like fostered in us, usually by like a parent figure.
What is resilience?
It's the ability to get back up when you fall. And I think a lot of people that have the fear of failure in the ultra perfectionist or the ultra driven way kind of have this thing where if they fail, it like takes them out and they never get up again. Like even if they were super successful, one failure will just like end it for them. Like they can't get back up.
Well, because
again.
it's painful.
It's very
And
painful.
I feel like that is a human instinct of like, we want to avoid pain. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm going to get a shot. Oh, I hate the feeling of this. It's like you like cringe because you remember how it felt last time. And like, that's just human nature.
But then
to
a second later, you're on the other side.
But it's really interesting because like that can be, the fear of pain can be paralyzing because not only is it physical pain, but it's emotional pain. And that's, I think that is why like resilience can be hard sometimes, because if you were like devastated by a loss in your life, it can be really hard to like ever try again because you're like, what if I risk it and I lose everything? Like,
That's what you have to ask yourself. You have to say, so what if I risk it and I lose everything? Am I more comfortable at the end of the day going, I never tried again? Or am I more comfortable saying, I tried and I'm proud of myself for trying? You have to ask yourself that question. And it is no easy undertaking to develop resilience because it's not something you can just make, like snap your fingers and you're resilient. It only comes from getting up repeatedly. So, you know, I've said this before.
it's a muscle.
You fall down, you can stay there for a sec, but you have to keep getting back up. You can't live your life down there. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. You got to get yourself back up, and you do it enough times. It really hurts those first times, it really hurts. But then suddenly you're like, this is getting easier. It doesn't feel like that first time every time. Like the hardest, most painful moment of that's not going to be every time. Even though you might think it will be, it won't. So resilience, something you have to practice. It just comes from practice. It's just like when you were learning how to walk. You fell so many times. Like I'm watching Tristan right now. She's learning how to walk right now. And she's standing up.
She's so little to be knowing that.
The amount of time she keeps standing up and then falling flat back, and it's so terrifying. I like try to catch her and she hits her head. It's so scary. And she's relentless. She will not stop. I'm like, you hit your head so many times and you won't stop trying to get back up there. And that hurts. That's what we need to do.
We need to
even though it
channel
hurts,
Tristan.
because she wants to walk and she's gonna walk.
She's so gonna walk. She's gonna walk.
She's not like,
These
I'm
boots
done.
are made for walking.
I'm scooting forever. Nope. She's gonna walk. So
She's
what
gonna go
about
for it.
fear of embarrassment?
Oh, that's the number one reason that I have a fear of failure is fear of embarrassment for sure and vulnerability. Because I am like, it's a pride. No, maybe pride or vanity. Take your pick. I don't know, probably both. It's like a pride and a vanity thing and a lack of resilience. And like, if I look bad to everyone, how am I going to survive that? Like, why? Like, it's going to make me bad if I look bad to everyone. I will not get over people laughing at me or ridiculing me or knowing that I did something wrong, knowing that I failed at something, which has kept me from doing a lot of things in my life, actually. Like, actually pretending to play basketball. I was like, no, I'm too scared of failing. I already know I'm going to be horrible. So why not just not try, you know? But maybe I would have had more fun if I tried. I might have a fun
It
time.
was fun.
But it's like, it's like it stopped me from so many things. But little by little, I have kind of been unmasking this fear and being like, oh, it's just like in Scooby-Doo at the end of the episode, where it's just a random old person. And it's like, you meddling kids. It's like you get laughed at, you get embarrassed, and life goes on.
I think the problem is that the goal is
To look good to other people, which you can't control.
Yeah, way too often the goal is to succeed.
Yeah.
But there could be a lot of goals in that situation, for instance. It could be like, I really want to have fun. It could be, I really want to try and see like what happens. I really want to be the best. Could be another goal. I really want to be better than everyone else. Could be another goal. I really want to be better than I was last time. Or I really just want to play this whole game and like see if I like it. Like there's a lot of goals you could have. And too often I think we have the goal of I need to succeed and I need to look good to other people around me. Why do we want acceptance from people?
Yeah.
We don't want to be.
You don't want to feel rejected.
You don't want to be ostracized by society.
But I don't actually think in most of these situations we would be rejected by society, but it feels like we would.
See,
Yeah.
Lauren tried and she failed at basketball.
And she was not rejected.
And nobody cared. Everyone's like, wow.
Well, I don't know if they cared. I think maybe some of
nobody
them
rejected
did, but
you,
I didn't
though.
care that much. I didn't really know them. It's not like I need them to accept
Honestly,
me. I
you
don't know
probably
that.
made them feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like swoosh swoosh.
They were really going for it.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what? Honestly, if I saw someone out there who was like maybe not looking great at basketball, but they were trying, I would not think what
I'd be
a
like,
dumb
what an
idiot.
inspiration.
I would be like, that's so cool. This person is like trying and like they keep like I would be honestly kind of in awe of that because like I just played basketball recently and I was
It's
thinking
hard.
it's so vulnerable to
Like,
even
go her.
even go for the shot.
To even
Every time I
pretend
did it,
you're
I
catching
was
the
like,
ball.
oh, like what if I
Scary.
look so bad?
It
What
is.
if God forbid the ball hits someone in the face? Like
What if it hits
I'm
you in
like,
the face?
What if there was like a 10-year-old boy? I'm like, what if I hit him in the face and I look like a horrible sinner? I don't know. It's just like it's scary. And I feel like anyone who took a shot or was trying, I felt in awe of that because I was like, that's really cool that they're trying because it's really hard to try.
The basketball
Yeah.
one is a great example because we were at our brother's basketball game the other day, and my one brother was the coach of it, and my mom was telling me that his goal for my brother Joey, who was playing, was that he needed to like just take like 20, I can't remember how it was, 20, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 shots the whole game. He didn't say you need to make this, you need to score so many points, whatever. He just said, I want you to take 20 shots. And that's interesting.
That is good.
Joey ended up having a good game.
That
He
is
did
what
take
I'm
a lot of
saying of
shots.
like, you need to put out 20 songs or you need to try this thing 20 times. Like making a goal of like, I want to try this thing this many times is much better than I need to be successful at this. It needs to be perfect. Everyone needs to
Yeah.
think this about me. I need to not be embarrassed. I need everyone to like me. I need everyone to approve of me. Like those are just goals. We need to change our goals. Those are goals that are gonna make our lives miserable, honestly.
Yeah.
We need to change the goals to being courageous, brave, having the audacity, trying a certain amount of
Yeah,
times.
being
or
bold.
having fun.
Having
I was
fun,
like, I want to have fun
enjoying.
doing this,
Yeah.
not worry about is everything I'm dumb. They probably did think I was dumb is the thing though. I don't
wanna
think
have
you
fun.
went on
I don't think they were in awe of me. I think they were like, yikes. But I was like, I think this is fun. So I don't want to ruin my life of all of these things that I could have fun
Yeah.
doing that I
Yeah.
never did in my life because I was just like, oh, I don't want to look like some loser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up with my biggest tips. I'm just going to run through them. So these are things I've done that have actually worked incredibly well, where I overcame huge fears that were like soul crushing. Like I can't exaggerate on really how bad these things were for me. So this is the huge quotes. I found several quotes that perfectly like went with like whatever the theme was, which was like fear of failure at this time or fear of criticism or whatever it was. Look at that up. Look for inspirational quotes with it.
There's like lists and lists and lists.
And then you
online.
have to hang them up in places you'll see them every day. I've done this multiple times in my life with different quotes every single time. Life-changing results. It sounds too easy. Do it. Hang them up, fridge, bathroom, laundry room, mirror, whatever. Hang them up everywhere. Quotes will change your life. Guaranteed. I will guarantee that. Next, journaling your fears and finding the root. Every time I do this, it may
Oh,
not be the
so
first
good.
time, but every time I do this, I get to the root and I overcome the fear.
Oh, I love
But
it.
you have to figure out what's the root of the fear. Normally, if you're assigning some huge meaning to something, and that meaning is so big and so powerful that it paralyzes you.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what meaning you're assigned to. Like, if I lose at this basketball game, it means I'm an idiot. Really, it doesn't mean you're an idiot. But if that's what it means, you don't want to risk being an idiot and being
Yeah.
ostracized by society. That's a pretty big thing. So don't want to risk that. Figure out what meaning you're assigning to things that doesn't belong there and delete it. Figure that out through journaling. Therapy. Love it. We all need it. Therapy will help.
And getting an outside perspective of someone who's a little more objective is
Yeah.
really helpful.
That goes with finding your support system to cheer you on. Finding
Yeah.
positive people. Well, people who are encouraging and supportive of you, who can cheer you on, give you good perspective, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're going to help lift you up and you know you can go to them. Remember why you're trying to actually do whatever it is. You got to have a reason that pushes you through. If you're going to do anything in life, you have to have, life is tough. There's a lot of adversity, there's
Life is
challenges, there's
very hard.
pain. You have to have something to push you through all of that or you're not going to go there. You're just going to roll over and give up. That's what's going to happen. You have to have a burning fire inside of you that's going to push you through it. What's it going to be? Passion? Something, there's going to be something.
Faith in
Passion,
yourself.
faith, desire of some sort. There's a reason you have to get this message out. You want to help this
You
person.
want to help people.
You're doing it for your younger self. You're doing it for this person you know, your sister, your mom, your friend, God. You're doing it for someone, whatever the heck it is. There's got to be a reason why you're doing anything that's going to push you through all of this pain. And that's how you're going to really live your life. But without that reason, It's too much. You're not going to want to do it. Find what that reason is. Figure it out. Once again, journaling. And that reason is going to sustain you.
It's going to be the wind beneath your wings.
Through the hard times.
You know, that's my phone background, which I think is a great background if you're in fear of failure mode, which is remember why you started.
Oh, I love it.
I look at that and it's very impactful to me every time I read it.
Exactly. And lastly, well, I said this one, shift the goal from success to something like having the courage to try. And I would say redefine success for yourself. You need to question what your definition of success is. I had to do this so many times and I finally came to a good place with that. What is your definition of success? You need to figure it out. Write it down, journal, figure it out. What is it? Don't go on with this weird arbitrary thing that the world has brainwashed you into thinking is success. You need to come up with something that really means something to you, that you actually agree with, that makes sense.
I love it.
That is what you need in your life. So figure out what is success to you, define it, and write down, hang it up. Those are all the tips.
Oh, I have a song rec for your fear of failure, guys. This song is called Man on Wire by Josie Vanders.
Oh, I love that.
It is so good. It is so good. It's all about the fear of failure.
Okay.
And the chorus is like, we can watch movies where all goes well, or we can do coffee where all goes to hell. Like, it's basically like we can do all these things in life, or we can just watch a movie about it. Like,
You know, it's another good one. I Lived. One Republic.
I love it.
That one's really good.
That
Get some
song.
music.
I
Pump
love
yourself
that song.
up.
Make a playlist. I always do that. All right. We're going to get into our 5 perspectives. We're going to give our perspectives on this question. And the question is, how many pillows do you like to have? Do you like to have or do you have on your bed?
Do you like to have? in
I
your bed?
have 6, I think.
Here's the thing. Visually, when the bed's made, I would like to have like 6,
Yeah.
but I only want to have like 3 in my actual bed.
I have like 2. Like when you're sleeping, I have like 2. And then
I don't
want
want to throw them on the floor.
Oh, I do.
That's just weird.
I think more pillows looks more comfortable and more inviting. I think I personally have 5, but it's a little scant. I really think I could. I really think because 2 of them are like actual like
You
head
have
sleeping
4 of the,
pillows,
like-
and then it's 3 decorative. So yeah, I mean, I would ideally like a few more for maximum comfort.
Well, mine is different. We have 5 and they're all functional. Nick
Wow.
uses 2 and I sleep with 3 pillows.
Good for you.
I have one behind my back, one under my head, and one in between my
Behind
knees.
your back.
It like supports me on my side.
Interesting.
Like I don't want
I never tried that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Interesting.
so let's go to Sister Spotlight.
All right.
All right, where we put the spotlight on a different sister each week. We have Get Real with Christina, Sappy or Sassy Thoughts with Kath, Lisa's Corner, Amy's Current Crisis, and Lauren's Take. And this week the sister is ding, Lauren's Take.
Lauren!
All right, Laura, we got some great questions from our patrons for you today. The first question comes from Karina, and she said, "What is something new you've learned about yourself recently?"
That I gossip too much.
Oh, that's a good thing to know.
Like when I see, and this is what I realized though, when I see some cringe TikTok, I'm like, oh, I gotta send this to me. Like, look how cringe this is. Rude. Shouldn't do that.
You're
or
so
I
right. I
see
have a
someone
problem
and
with
I'm
that.
like, why does she look different? And I would send it and be like, did she get plastic surgery?
Oh.
No. Why do I need to say that? Rude.
You're so
I learned
right.
that.
That's very self-aware.
Well, I think God revealed it to me. It wasn't really me.
I was going to say, I've definitely done both those things, and I'm like, but it's not my take. Okay. Camila says, if you were to write a fiction book, what genre would it be?
I will say when I was young, I wrote a 13-page fiction book
Wow.
about Halloween. But like a story about like a girl and like her Halloween experience.
Cute.
I don't remember what happened, but it was
Oh
really good.
my gosh.
Wait, this wasn't the song that you wrote about Halloween related
that was
to it.
when I was younger.
Okay.
So I would probably write like a young adult like
YA.
romantic comedy book,
Oh, okay.
That would be cute.
Like To All the Boys.
a dramedy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Chloe
Yes,
said,
like that.
what is the best fast food restaurant in your opinion?
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, so happy you
So
said that.
good, always, every time.
What are some of your favorite traits about each of your siblings? Just do like lightning round.
Oh.
First
Kat,
thing
we don't have all day.
First thing that comes to
Okay, Michael is funny. Christina inspires me.
Cute.
Kath is nice to me.
Love it.
Lisa is funny.
I love it.
Alex is nice to me.
I love it.
That's the literal first thing I think of. Oh wait, I skipped you. LOL.
Oh my god, you really just skip me.
Amy
What's that say about me?
is a great person. Danny is inspiring in some ways. She's so like different than me. Christian is really smart. Nick is rude. Nick challenges me.
Yes, love it.
Also inspires me though. Joey, Joey,
Kiss me.
I feel like he's changed recently. Joey is like chill guy. Like Joey doesn't like take things too seriously. All right.
Like it.
Lighthearted. Love to see it. Okay. Last one's from Lee, and they said, how does your creative process work? What is your, quote, creative way?
What?
Like, how do you write your songs?
It's
Or
like I get struck by lightning. And I'm
Ooh.
like, ooh. I do not really force myself to do anything unless I'm inspired. Or I'm like, oh, I need to finish this. But like, I don't like sit down and be like, let me try to
I
write.
gotta write.
I only do it when inspiration strikes. So my process is anywhere, plane, train, or car. When I get inspiration,
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
then I just start writing.
I love
And
that.
then whenever I get the chance to, I will record it.
Good for you.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Inspiration strikes.
I love it.
There you go.
All right, there you have it.
That's
Lauren's
That's all we
Take.
have
That
for
was Lauren's
you.
Take.
Well, if you want to be a part of Lauren's Take next time and you want to get to ask her the questions, you got to join our Patreon. Those questions are from our patrons, linked in the description, patreon.com/Cimorelli. Thank you so much to our patrons for supporting us. You guys are the best. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
You've been listening to the Cimorelli podcast. Follow Cimorelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimorelli on Facebook and Instagram